and I'm in Cork in the southwest coast of Ireland, and it's a real pleasure to be here. I'm a Chopra certified teacher of yoga, meditation and Ayurveda, and I'm also a McLean meditation teacher and a mindfulness at work teacher, and I'm really passionate about Ayurveda, which is a consciousness-based system of healing. And I've also trained with a doctor in Dharamsala, Dr. Shivani Sood, to become an Ayurvedic consultant. So all things conscious related is my definitely my passion. And I'm excited to tell you all that I am hosting a workshop on behalf of the Feast for the Soul next week. It'll be an hour after the regular Monday call, so it'll be 7 p.m. in Ireland, and then it'll be probably 11, I think, Pacific. So that's going to be a really cool 2-hour workshop where we'll explore living Ayurveda. So you can read about all of these things and you can think about them, but unless you're actually doing them and activating them and living them, you won't really get the benefit. So with the Ayurveda lifestyle workshop, we're going to help you to create an Ayurvedic daily routine. So it's all about the routine, and that's why today I wanted to share with you about our meditation today, because it's a healing meditation that I really feel guided to share. And what started my inspiration for this meditation was I was listening to Deepak Chopra, and he was talking about the pandemic and, you know, the stress that it creates in our systems. And he says that we have to really consciously activate the healing system and that healing cycle within our own physiology. Consciously, we have to really consciously activate that. So that's why I wanted to bring that into my meditation today that I'm going to share with you. And one of the key ways he suggests to address and bring about the healing cycle is to address your own daily routine. Because you can really interrupt those patterns of stress and anxiety and all of those things that are kind of coming our way, whether they're coming consciously or unconsciously. And I don't think any one of us is immune to those stressors, because they're coming left, right, and center from one week to the next. So we can become more conscious about how we engage and how much time we allocate to being unconscious. So this healing cycle is it's one of the key components actually is melatonin. And he says that it's about your sleep, the quality of the sleep that you're having. And when you talk about quality of sleep, we also talk about the quality of your sleep hygiene. So there's so many things that you can do. I made a list of a couple of things that'll really help you to improve your sleep hygiene and get the most out of your own healing cycle, because the body naturally goes through these cycles. And with Ayurveda, we suggest that we tune into the natural cycles, you know, to the rhythms of nature and of life. So one of the key things is to go to sleep at the same time every night, including weekends. So no staying up for the late night movies. Go out in the sun and get a walk, even if it's cold where it is here. There's still some sunlight, and being able to get some time in the natural sunlight will also promote and increase your melatonin levels. The other thing is some exercise. So physical exercise is one of the other key ways. And even if you're working at your desk, being able to just get up and stretch and move at least once every hour, you know, it's really, really important that we become aware of how the changes that we're experiencing are maybe impacting us and what we can do to counteract that accumulative stress and pressure that our system is under, which can often really lead us to not being able to get a good night's sleep. The other key thing he says is not to look at bright screens up to 2 hours before bedtime. So if you're watching this and not live and you're watching the recording, and if you're in bed, I advise you now just to turn off the screen and just, disconnect, because being exposed to the blue light and the devices up to 2 hours before your natural bedtime can really activate the mind and really impact the quality of your sleep. So whatever you can do to reduce the passive distractions and help to increase the creative activity. So I was really inspired by our call yesterday with Shay, who was talking about the paintings and being creative. So after your meditation practice in the morning, or as soon as you go to end your day, we usually say practice first thing in the morning, and as the sun is setting in the sky. So when it's rising and when it's setting, and when you're going from the active part of your day into the relaxation part of your evening, they're the two optimal times to meditate. But a beautiful thing to do as you enter into that later stage is to do something creative. So it could be just some mindful coloring, or just something like, it could be knitting or crochet or painting, creating some music. Doing something creative is really, really powerful for helping to just reduce the distractions in your mind, and then you can start focusing your attention, because what happens is you'll do those activities with a more mindful approach. You'll be bringing your presence and that quality of your focus, of your attention, into whatever creativity you choose. So I've read somewhere that I think it was either Deepak or Caroline Myss. It was probably Deepak actually, who said that the healing cycle is thrown off by a passive lifestyle. So we want to kind of move away from being passive and really moving into like a more mindful lifestyle, or a more Ayurvedic lifestyle, and giving sleep that priority. But moving from sleep, we're going to move into now this meditation, which I feel guided, because how else could we activate that healing cycle? I was thinking, well, we can bring that consciousness to it, and we can consciously activate the healing response in our body now. So before we begin the meditation, I invite you to just scan your body or reflect for a moment or two and ask yourself, what needs healing now? What needs my attention? Is it an area in your life, maybe a relationship, or maybe it's a physical thing? Maybe you need to just address some things in your environment. Who knows? Is it in your physical body? Do you have any aches or pains? Maybe it's more in your mind. Maybe you feel anxious, or maybe it's an emotional response where you're feeling that you could really do with some more calm, some more support. And just what we're going to do is we're really going to activate some healing. And when you just see what comes to you, during the course of the meditation, we'll guide our attention to where it's needed. And we'll pause there for a little while. We will use a mantra in this practice, and we'll probably practice for about 20 minutes. And I'll be looking after the time. So if it's your first time, just simply follow the guidance and enjoy it. Approach it with a very childlike curiosity, as we explore the natural healing cycle, the natural healing response in your bodies. So the word healing relates to the word holy, and healing is a return to that wholeness. So in order to return ourselves to this natural state, we need to give it some space for that to arise within us. And that's hopefully what we'll do today. So look around now and check out, what do you need to do in your environment to support this practice, and attend to that before you begin. And then if you're sitting in your chair, just sitting comfortably, because comfort is key. Check that your legs aren't crossed, your hands are resting lightly in your lap. And then let's take a long, slow, deep breath in. I suggest that you could breathe in, if you want to do a count for about 4. So breathe in for 4. And breathe out for about 5 or 6, just a little bit longer. Let's do that again. Breathe in this time for maybe the count of 5, and imagine that the breath is going a little bit deeper now and it's expanding across your belly as well. So let's breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, short pause, and release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, a short pause before resuming your natural breath. And remembering as we begin this practice that we're not just, our 5 senses. We're multi-sensory beings. So let's engage with those 5 senses now so that we can let them go. So imagine now that you're just tuning into hearing all of the sounds around you. Notice the sounds that are really far. And then bring your attention to the sounds that are nearby. And now become aware of your sense of touch. Feel the quality of your touch, your hands maybe resting on your lap. The connection that your seat has. Your feet with the floor perhaps. And then connecting with the sense of smell. Simply observe now the smells in your environment. Maybe there's a smell of the coffee that was brewing this morning, or maybe like me, you have a scented candle nearby. Just noticing the different smells in your environment. And then the sense of taste. Maybe you're still digesting breakfast or a snack that you might have just had. And then letting that go too. And then finally with the sense of sight. Before we close our eyes, I invite you to look around. Take in all the colors, the shapes and textures, and as you release all of them now, I invite you, if it's comfortable, to close your eyes or simply cap them with a downward gaze. And as we withdraw those 5 senses now, let's remember our 6th sense, our intuitive sense. We're highly energetic, intuitive beings. And in this practice now, we'll create the intention to really learn to tune into that intuition. So as we begin this healing practice now, with the intention of returning to wholeness by trusting, by tuning in and listening, and by consciously activating our own healing response. The ingredients for this practice are some quiet time and reflection, a time to speak to your body and ask it for guidance. We'll pause in silence for a bit, and then we'll practice a mantra towards the end. And as we bring the practice to a close, we'll close it with a prayer today. So as we enter the quiet now, imagine now that you're connecting with that sacred sanctity, that sacred silent sanctuary of your heart space. And remember that your heart, your mind, your soul They're all of the untapped resources to activate your own healing response and tap into your expansive power. So with this place of quiet, I invite you to observe the natural thoughts. Let them come and go without engaging. Remembering that thoughts are perfectly part of every meditation. Notice the space between the thoughts. Breathe into those spaces. And imagine with your mind now you can expand the space between the thoughts. Your breath and your thoughts are often connected. So as your mind settles down, you may observe your breath will deepen naturally. And I invite you now to reflect on what area of your life or your body or your environment you were considering at the beginning of this practice. Reflecting on the area that was grabbing your attention because maybe you feel it needs some healing. And let's give some space for this reflection. And as you reflect here, consider some of the choices that you make and can make. And in this moment, I invite you to choose the healing response. Let's consciously activate a healing response now in our body. Connect with your body, speak with your body. And we'll connect with that healing response in the center of your chest, in your heart. And imagine that healing response is like a warm honey. And by your very intention, you can spread this warm healing balm wherever it's needed. Whether it's to a specific part of your body physically, an area of your life mentally or emotionally, or something in your environment. As you connect with your own inner guidance, trust your own intuition now. Trust that the healing response will go and flow wherever it is needed most. Whenever you notice your attention drifts away to a story or a thought, a sound or a sensation, just gently bring it back and come back to this space within yourself, the space of healing and love and compassion, innate in every heart. And allow that healing balm now to flow effortlessly from you, to you, and through you. Maybe you feel this, experience it like a warmth or a tingling, or maybe you feel nothing at all. But trust in the guidance. Trust in your own intuition. And bring that conscious presence to this effortless healing response. Now I invite you to stay connected in your heart center, but ask your heart for guidance. Ask for guidance in relation to connecting with that innate intuition. Remembering that your intuition speaks immediately to you on every life issue. We just need the space to listen and the courage to listen, and then the courage to make more conscious choices. So resting your awareness here, allow any questions now to arise within you. And when you've posed the question, let's pause now in silence as we tune in and listen. And we're going to begin a mantra practice now for about 2 or 3 minutes. And the mantra I invite you to use today is, I am whole, I am holy, I am healed, I am whole, I am holy, I am healed. So simply begin the repetition of those 3 lines. I am whole, I am holy, I am healed. It's just a faint idea. There's no need to force or concentrate. Allow those words to bubble up effortlessly. I am whole. I am holy. I am healed. I'll watch the time. Continue like this until you hear the bell. I am whole. I am holy. I am healed. I am whole. I am holy. I am healed. Releasing the mantra. Simply bask in your own sacred stillness and silence now. Connecting with that sacred chamber of love and compassion and healing deep within each and every one of you. I invite you now to pause and hear this beautiful prayer that I read today by Caroline Myss, maintaining that awareness in your heart. May the grace of healing be poured abundantly onto all living creatures. May that holy grace ease the suffering of humanity and this earth. And may it bring us ever closer to living as a loving community without fear of sharing and without fear of each other. As we release the prayer into the cosmos and into this beautiful space that we have shared today, let's take a long, slow, deep breath in. And as you release that breath, I invite you to pause. Don't pause your breath, but just pause for a few more moments. And maybe you might consider contemplating these questions. How do you define your own power to make choices? Do you believe that you can activate your own innate power? Do you believe in your own power to redirect the flow of events in your life and to activate a healing response? And I ask you to consider the amount of power contained in 5 minutes of your life. How in 5 minutes can make such a difference. A lot can be done in 5 minutes. You can activate your imagination when you're up against a challenge, or when you're needing a healing, or you're in a life crisis, or when you feel like you need to redirect the course of your life. Because Einstein says that when we need to find a solution for a problem, we need to go to a higher state of awareness to find that solution. And I truly believe that meditating daily, connecting with our own innate intuition, asking our soul for guidance, and giving the space for the answers to come. I also believe in the 5 minutes where we activate the healing response consciously. And it doesn't have to be only in your meditation, it could be a mindfulness practice that you do throughout the day. So I thank you for joining me today. We'll take a few more minutes as we really integrate the benefits of such a practice. And remember, you can come back here again and again. You can come back and connect to your heart. You can connect to that healing cycle. You can activate it and you can support it by addressing the simple things like your daily activities, your daily routine. So I really invite you to join me for this workshop next week. It's on the 1st of February. And we'll start February together by looking into the wisdom of Ayurveda and the wisdom of really connecting to a daily routine that supports you, supporting you on your journey with the feast and supporting on your own evolutionary journey. So with that, we'll just close this now by taking another breath in, smiling warmly to ourselves. Feel that connection. It never goes away, never. So you just have to connect back again and again and again. And I'll invite our beautiful host, Ashley, now to end the recording and end the live stream.